Welcome to Lore Hero episode 120. We have a special guest joining us this week. That is Lee Guinchard, or as you might have saw him on the Stage Tour website, JCO, Johnny Cracked Octane.
Stage Tour? What is that?
Oh, what Stage Tour, you ask? Before we get into that too much, for one, JP is not here. He had a death in the family. He's attending a funeral this weekend. You know, our sympathies go to JP and his family. You know, just want to, let you guys know that first. That's why JP's not here. But also, I feel like this is going to be maybe one of our more popular episodes in terms of viewership, but also in terms of new viewership, because we have this new cool thing that we're all working on. I think we start with introductions. You know, for anybody who hasn't seen this show before, if you're new to this, I'll start. My name is Jake, a Wise Moose online. I work at RedOctane Games. I'm the community manager over there. And I have mentioned it before, Stage Tour. We just announced Stage Tour, our new game, and I'm the one that you see in your Discord server. If you're joining that, I'm the one that's most likely replying to you on any sort of social media site we have, if you're talking there. So that's me. Next up, let's go to Jason.
Oh, hi. Name's Jason Paradise. Played a lot of Clone Hero in the past on Twitch and YouTube. Worked on a couple games over at Ubisoft way in the past, but nowadays associate producer at RedOctane Games, working on Stage Tour. I'm doing a lot of things with the set list and some other stuff I can't talk about yet. Lots of fun stuff. And Alec?
Oh, yeah. No, I was hoping that you'd bring it over to Jason because y'all are actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting with this game. My name's Alec, or Asai. I've been just making content on 5 Red Games since 2008. And I'm on the advisory board for RedOctane Games for this game Stage Tour. So I've been overseeing a whole lot of stuff, just with this extremely ambitious, this huge project, this thing that we've been so gracefully given a chance to evolve and create. But like I'm also at the core a player. So I've been like waiting, and I want to know and be surprised by a lot of the things that the team creates. But I do have a lot to say, and a lot of thoughts on this thing that we're creating. Yeah. To Lee.
Wow, I guess I'm the guy that's funding this thing. No. I mean, I guess I founded many companies, of which RedOctane is one of the more recent ones with these folks. And of course, John Cracked, from the Cracked brand before. But also, I've been around the industry for 30 odd years, of which I've worked on the original Guitar Hero stuff, right the way through to GH Live, with the guys at Freestyle. Just generally,
Been around.
An old dude trying to make things cool as best I can with the best people.
Oh, that's us. Thanks.
Aw.
And you.
Oh, okay, cool. There you go. That's cool too. Anyways, so if you weren't in the loop, now you're in the loop. That's who we are. We're just one very small part of the RedOctane Games team. It's not a huge studio, but it is larger than just us three. We're working with a lot of very, very, very talented individuals to create this game. If you guys have played Yarg in the past, one of the clone games that for Guitar Hero, we took 5 of the core people from the Yarg team to help us build our game. So community first, we've been building RedOctane Games, we've been building Stage Tour with community at its core. Everything revolves around, the people who kept this game genre alive for the longest time, the people who actually play it. So that's that.
Even down to the charters.
Even down to the charters. Yeah, we have over a dozen charters on the team.
We can talk about that, and I have no problem giving them props.
Absolutely.
Because we have some incredible people on the team. People like 3UP, or, hey, some people from the festival side might know MD Curtis. If you play DJ Max, you might know MD Curtis. Amazing man. He's on our charting team helping us out there. Zane and Boo. Any of the drummers in the community might recognize them as well. Hop H2O. The list goes on. I don't want to miss anybody now that I'm actually shouting everybody out.
No. I went over.
Chezzy.
I was going to say big ones, Miscellany. Jada Rand on the guitar charting team on that side.
Love me some Jeremy.
You did mention Die and Chezzy, just legends.
Die's a special one. Die's a special one because they're also working over on the festival side of things as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. Shout out to Epic for allowing Die to work with us at the same time. And if we're talking about Die, I also need to give a shout out to the person doing our audio as well, because Sean also does audio mixing for a festival. Thank you, Freak, for being a part of our team and helping us out, making the audio for our game sound incredible.
Yes. Both of those individuals are wonderful additions to the team. Super happy about that. Super happy about the structure that they have over there at Epic Games, because they're not technically Epic employees. They're contractors. And they're the same for us. They're contractors. So they have the freedom to work wherever they please. And thankfully, Epic Games is cool with them also working on this project as well. So that's amazing.
Yeah. And also at its core, like, once again, Sean, it has always been core community since 20 years ago.
One. He's a day one.
Literally CustomHero.net turned into Rhythm Authors, and now Rhythm Authors is Rhythm Authors.
Yeah, they do all the Fortnite charts.
Yeah. He's had digital
charts.
footstep.
3 more people to shout out real quick, because I don't want to miss anybody. Popsy, who's somebody who used to play on VVV Gaming with a Cyanide, goes all the way back to those days, which is freaking awesome. So shout out to Vince. They're awesome. They're a part of our charting team. Zeratech as well.
Yes.
Can't forget Zeratech. And then last but not least, I've seen other people mention this before, another person who's placing notes for us, Jarvis.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think that's everybody.
Right there.
I think that's everybody. Maybe.
From what I see on the list, I think we got everybody there. We said Hop, right?
So. Yeah, Hop's amazing.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
we did. Everybody who did come out and say, "Hey, I'm working on this game," or, "Hey, I'm bleeding down notes for this game." I think we have said.
I think that's everybody.
But if not, it's okay.
If you guys, if you guys out there have played many like Clone Hero custom charts or Yard custom charts or whatever, it's almost certain that you've played a chart that any one of those individuals have made. Most of them are all very prolific charters. They have a lot of charts out there, and they're all of very high quality.
If you played
and
Woe
that's
memes,
why we chose them.
If you played Woe memes, Carpal Tunnel Hero, 1 or 2, really. Come on, if you played anything that was iconic, like when we hit our stride in 2018, 2017, 2016, we have the people that were behind it. Laying down notes is like 100% the most important part of this game, and so we had to go and get world class. We had to.
And not even just the Guitar Hero type of genre either. MD Curtis, if you guys are familiar with him, he's a legend over on the DJ Max side of things. We'll talk more about how his involvement helps us probably soon, but knowers know.
Knowers.
Hopefully it was a little obvious, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, I think people are putting 2 and 2 together, but I'm proud that we have so many amazing, talented individuals on the team with us. I saw one person say, I knew they'd have some cool people on the team, but I didn't realize they were assembling the Avengers.
Yeah,
which I'm like,
that was cool.
I mean, yeah.
That is the Avengers of charting. That's really funny.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've seen almost universal praise for in the feedback we've received so far is like, if people know the charters, they're like, oh my God, that's a great, you guys are nailing it with the charters. And so from what we've seen so far of what the charts that have been submitted, we got some good shit in the pipeline. It's looking very good. I'm very, very confident in our team. We selected quite a few good chaps. The mannerisms from Lee is rubbing off on me. The Britishness is just by proxy. I've been saying all sorts of those weird terms that you were saying. I was just in California with Lee for the past week or whatever. I just pick up his British mannerisms, I guess. I don't know. It just happens. Calling people knobs. I don't know. Just a funny word. We don't say it over here.
I don't do that in public. Yeah, I don't say them things in public. So that knob word doesn't compete with me.
My computer's doing that thing where I didn't hear a single word you just said for the past 15 seconds. If anything was important, tell me.
Or you're getting getting roasted here. It's fine.
That's okay. I didn't hear the roasting.
wait.
My computer did not allow me to hear it, so it saved me from that. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
A
audio
knob
drivers,
moose.
for not working for 10 seconds.
A knob moose is crazy.
I'll listen to it back editing this. where do you want to go from here? What do we want to talk about next?
Yeah, so no, we have a ton of things we want to talk about. We have
There's so
the
much.
FAQ. Yeah, there's a lot that we're going to be talking about. Lots of things that you guys have been vocal about. Lots of things that a lot of people have been vocal about. Whether you don't know who we are or you've known our mission for these last handful of years. So, I mean, did you guys want to go through the stage tour FAQ first, or do we have some prepared questions over here too? So,
let's do the FAQ first, because that makes the most sense. That's what's I think a lot of people missed that was a thing. So let's at least go over that, and then we can go over some of the biggest questions we've seen from the Stage Tour Discord and on social media.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Jake,
so
you lead the way.
This here is the Stage Tour website, stagetour.com. Go over there, sign up with your email right there. Make sure that you accept the cookies. It won't work if you don't accept the cookies. We're going to have some early playtesting opportunities. We're going to show you a bunch of other behind-the-scenes stuff. You're going to want to sign up for this email newsletter. I'm telling you right now. We have all of our partners here that we're building this game with. Of course, RedOctane Games. That's us. Gibson has been a great, wonderful partner so far. They've been very, very helpful, very, very open to doing a lot of things with us. And other smaller brands like Epiphone, Kramer, Mesa Boogie, other things that are under the Gibson umbrella, as well as Cracked, one of our hardware partners on Stage Tour. We can wish list it on Steam right now. Our Steam page is live. Sorry for the flashbang. It's loading the page right now. Hurry up and load. Thank you. There it is. Go wish list us on Steam right now. That there's one question that many have asked is well, I don't play on PC. I play on consoles. We'll announce more console stuff later. Trust me. But right now we have the Steam page up. Go wish list. I have 21 friends that have wish listed
question
this already.
today.
Yeah, that console question will be answered pretty soon.
Yeah, all my friends.
Our trailer. Go watch our trailer. It's on the official Stage Tour YouTube channel, also on the IGN YouTube channel. That's where we revealed the game at IGN Fan Fest. That went off very well. 50,000 views on our own video. That's pretty cool. Anyways, there's also an FAQ
featuring
section.
Terminator Oscillator by Static X.
Terminator Oscillator.
Which is one piece of feedback.
Which is confirmed in the game. That's one song in the game.
One song.
The song in the game.
It is confirmed. It is.
There you go. Confirmed. I got you.
All right, so now we're at the FAQ section. Let's go through these real quick. Question number 1: when will Stage Tour be released? Fall 2026. That is our release window. We don't have an exact date locked down 100%, but we have a range of dates. Stay tuned for more details on that. Why is the game called Stage Tour? This is a question that we've received a little bit after the launch. We can't tell you that yet. Can't say. I think it'll be more clear.
That's not satisfying.
In time.
What the
I know, it's not meant to be satisfying, Jason, and it's okay. Stay tuned. There's a reason. It's not. We didn't just pull it out of our ass. There's a reason for Stage Tour.
There is a reason.
It'll make a lot of sense in the coming months when we reveal a bit more. But
okay.
Stay tuned on that one. What instruments can I play in Stage Tour? Stage Tour can be played solo or with up to 4 players, featuring any mix of lead, groove, drums, and vocals. Each role supports its own dedicated peripherals, along with full gamepad and keyboard compatibility. Anybody listening there? Gamepad, keyboard. That's a question we've been receiving a lot as well. It's if I can play this with a gamepad, it's over. It's over, man. You can get it. It's cool. You don't have to get a peripheral if you don't want to. We'll have a very, very specific type of gameplay mode for you. And also another question:
buddy.
lead and groove. Let's talk about lead and groove. Let's take a break from the official FAQ real quick. Jason, you lead the way on this one. I think you were one of the primary people that was crafting these modes.
So the idea is, and I got to give a shout out to Fortnite Festival for kind of leading the way on this one. They changed things, up a little bit. It used to be just guitar and bass, and one of the things that they did was say, hey, you know what? What about this really cool keyboard part? We want to be able to chart that, and we're going to do the same. But instead of just calling it bass or rhythm, what if there's a couple of cool parts in a song and we want to bounce between it? And instead we want to just, play the groovy parts of the song. That's what groove is for. It's not just bass. It's not just, oh, hey, there's the rhythm guitar. It's let's focus on the most interesting rhythmic parts of the song, regardless of what the instrument is. If there's a a saxophone in the rhythm section that's way more interesting because there's no bass there, we can throw that in and it will still count.
Yeah, it's a license for us to be more fun. You know, we're not locked into just one instrument. We can do a whole host of things that makes it more fun and engaging. Because, I mean, for 2 decades almost now, bass has pretty much universally been thought of as, like, lesser than guitar. It's like, oh, no, I don't get he chose guitar before me, now I'm stuck with bass. We don't like that. We don't want there to be, like, a less than experience. We want it to be, you know, as close to on par with what the lead chart offers as close as it can be. You know, we want it to stay interesting. We want it to be something that isn't like the, oh no, I have to play that. We want you to play it. We want you to want to play it.
Yeah.
So,
and also I want to clear this up because the way that you said that might lead people to believe that we're locking the, you know, like the layout of characters you could play online, like not characters, but the type of instruments you could play together in multiplayer. It's any mix.
Yeah, you want 4 guitars?
Mix.
Sure, man.
So
4
you
drummers?
Can have 4 guitars,
Sure.
4 drummers, you get 4 groovers, you get 4 vocalists.
Or 2 guitars and 2
Groovers.
vocalists, or 3 guitars and 1 drummer. And the possibilities are endless. Well, not really.
What Jake was talking about was like if people want to have like, like if you wanted to have the OG combination, which is guitar, bass, drums, vocals.
The classic,
you know, like
full
that's
band.
what he was
Traditional
talking about. Actual full band, you know. But it's any mix. So just wanted to clear that up.
Mm-hmm. And then
I'm still
also
hoping
part of
people
that
will
same
go for
thing.
traditional band FCs.
Yes, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I think traditional full band FCs is that's still something that's really, really important. I know in Fortnite Festival, I'm just, you know, comparing the most recent thing. You know, they have a band bonus. Like if you have unique instruments, like you get more points because you guys are following the original band lineup. And I think that's pretty cool. So like, not saying that we have that type of thing, but it would be cool to have some sort of incentives to playing OG full band. So I'd love to see more of it.
We shall see. Also, in that same question, you know, along with full gamepad and keyboard compatibility, can't give away too much about that yet, but gamepad players, trust me, we're listening. We see you. You will be represented in this game. Keyboard players as well. More details to come. Again, sign up for that newsletter. Follow us on socials. You'll know. Next question. What platforms will Stage Tour be on? This is one that I think I'll hop over to Lee with. We're talking about it for a little bit. We're planning to bring the game to a wide range of PC and home console platforms. More details will be announced soon. Me and Lee, one of the things that I did when I was in California, we went to, you know, a console manufacturer, a certain company, you know, to help, you know, get us in their brain, to see, you know, get us on their platform and do some special things, etc. You know.
Yeah, I think the answer to the first question, I think, is really, look, we want to get this on as many platforms as possible. You know, where it performs, of course. I mean, I think there are, I think some of that sort of cloud streaming stuff, I think's technically quite challenging right now,
especially for rhythm games.
But I think, well, exactly for these games, I think, you know. But I think if you think of the top consoles at this stage, and then of course PC, it's interesting because it's kind of funny how it's kind of gone turn turtle from before, and it's because of the community in a sense, right? Because last time these games were popular, I guess 10 plus years ago, it was only on console. It's just all a console thing.
PC was an afterthought,
and that, and console it's a great place. It is a high quality kind of experience, a plug and play experience. It's no hassle, and we love consoles for that. Which was very good for these kind of games, you know, where you have that friction of guitars and all these other things, like, you know. So it's that's where we grew up in a sense. But again, over these 10 years with your, you know, developing your Clone Heroes, your Yargs, and all the other fun stuff, you've done it on that PC, you know, because that's where you can do these things. And, you know, and if it breaks 10 minutes later, you can fix it, like, you know, and just keep going, like, you know. And but now PC, I mean, of course, there's that homebrew part of PC that's really cool. but PC in itself, with the likes of Steam, is as big as these consoles now. And getting the Steam page up and starting to work with the folks over there, they're every much, as big as the console folks now.
Mm-hmm.
So really for us, I mean, we do want to get it out. I mean, we haven't put exactly what and when, because of course with consoles there's a lot more hoops to jump through and stuff like that. We're confident. I mean, we're confident that we can get it all out. But I think by early summer we should be able to be definitive on exactly what comes when in the launch window. But yeah, no, it's exciting, and again, we did go and see a team. It was only meant to be for a couple of hours, but it was a lot longer, and it was a lot longer because we were digging into what we were showing and playing, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, the folks we were talking to seemed very engaged and very interested.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. More places, the better, as long as it runs well.
Yes.
Right?
We're not going to put it on the Xbox 360. A few people have said, is this going to be on 360? What do you think, brother? I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to be on 360. I can confirm that. I wish it was. Don't get me wrong. I love my 360. Best console of all time. It's not feasible. I'm sorry.
Super Nintendo?
I can't confirm or deny that one yet.
All right.
We'll get some dev kits.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
We'll have to find some dev
bro.
kits from... Yeah, we'll find them. Okay. Next question off the FAQ. What type of music will be featured in Stage Tour? We're really going for...
Wouldn't you like to know? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, is this song going to be in the game? Is that song going to be in the game? If this game doesn't have this artist, I'm not buying it. We'll talk more about music in specifics later, probably towards the summer. But yeah, what do you think of when you think of classic, Guitar Hero and Rock Band set lists? It's primarily rock and metal, and that's what we want to do here. We want to focus on those genres because those genres are the most interesting, and that's what this genre was kind of built around.
It's growing. I'll tell you, it's growing.
Stop.
Bro's teasing.
It is.
He's
Stop.
teasing.
Growing.
Yeah, I've been listening to my Stage Tour playlist a whole lot too. I can't show you that though because this would actually leak some stuff. You can't be showing anything on Spotify. Apple Music is a lot better to remain leak free. But yeah, rock and metal. Not to say that it's exclusively rock and metal, but
there are some standouts in other rock metal dabbling genres, but I feel like every person that's seen a look at the set list so far has enjoyed.
Yes,
and hopefully that's a sign for things to come.
Yes, and obviously music choices.
A lot of concern.
Yes, there's been a lot of concern about, I hope as long as the music's good. Well, that's like almost a universal thing that we've seen so far in the early feedback we've gotten based off the trailer. It's the one thing that people want the most is a good set list. Obviously, that's what you're
working
playing.
my butt off on it, trying.
Yeah, we're doing our best over here, and I promise you,
I think what's in
once we're able to show it, I think a lot of people are going to be pretty happy with what we got cooked up.
Hope so.
Yeah, think about the set list that you see in the games, not like including DLC. We're talking about like forever. This is the base set list
on disc. Yeah,
on disc, and like what we have here. I think people are really going to like it. They're really going to. Yeah.
I don't want to make any sweeping like this is the best ever because then it sets up for like it's that undersell. So that you over deliver after the fact, hopefully, maybe.
And also,
Fingers
music
crossed.
is just
that's
extremely subjective. There's no right answer to this, but there's
no.
It's up to your own tastes. But
imagine if music was objective, bro. Like, Jesus,
objective music, that's crazy. Like saying that's like a Fantano. This is a 10 out of 10. Everybody's like, yes, I love that album now. Those people like objective music.
I love that album now. It's
that
so
Lingua
good.
Ignota song, it bangs. I love it because Anthony gave it a 10. Regardless, you'll know more about music in the coming months. In-depth details.
Let's just put it like this. When I worked on Rocksmith and we were doing, the DLC there, no matter what we put out, no matter how popular it was, somebody always said, I can't believe you'd release this. This is not what I want to play in this game. no matter what it was.
Yeah.
So I know there's no way that everyone will be happy with the set list, but I do think we're putting together something that most people will be able to find things they enjoy and we'll be looking forward to play.
Of course. And the set list will always be growing. You know, we're planning DLC post-launch. So if maybe there'll be something more your fancy in the DLC catalog. We'll have to see. But I can just say personally, I'm very, very happy with what we have so far in the set list. And it's not done. We have licensed a fair bit of the set list, but it's not complete. I would say we're around a little over half to 2/3.
2/3-ish?
Getting close to about 2/3 done with the set list. Can't tell you how many songs, can't tell you, what the songs are, but we're moving along at a very good pace. And I've been very happy with what we've been able to pull off with in terms of certain songs, certain artists. It's
to be honest, I think in this, considering this is a new game, and I would say, well, up until the other day, right? Essentially, we've literally the music folks, the artists and the labels were just kind of going off a sheet of paper on what this was.
Yeah,
they're excited. Don't get us wrong. And of course, there's some history there as well. But we kind of, and Jason's kind of right in the mix, right in the thick of this from the studio side. We have a pretty good. It's a really good system. It's really working very well. So when you go into these things after so long, you speak to your advisors and your folks, including Kind Charles and stuff. Just go, oh, what about music? That's gonna be a pain in the ass. It hasn't been. No, there might have been the odd song that's been a pain in the ass, but generally it hasn't been. It's very clear, it's so I think it's it's not really been a worry at all. Of course you worry about mix and all that kind of stuff, but that's something very different. Worrying about trying to get music and no one calling you back, that's the worry, right?
If anything, we're having the opposite problem right now. No, to peel back the curtain just even a little bit, we are having to be very selective now with what we choose because there's been a lot of interest. So take of that what you will.
So yes, so I'm happy the way that's been going.
Mm-hmm. I have no real frame of reference because this is my first game I've worked on. I've only ever really heard about licensing from previous games through, stories told from other people who actually did. But from what I can gather, the music industry, it's just a different world now. The last real game that came out, other than Rock Band DLC, it was Rock Band 4 and Guitar Hero Live. That's over 10 years ago. For licensing for an official game like that of this genre, streaming was still, it was happening. But it was nothing like what we got going on now. I feel like the music world has changed a lot, and I think
drastically.
I think maybe I can't say definitively, but I think the rise in streaming in general might have played some sort of effect in us being able to license some songs that maybe previously weren't licensable for games like this, or was harder to achieve, or anything like that. I just feel like it's a different time. Some things we're doing couldn't have been done before.
I'll throw one other thing on here too, which is it's not just one person on the team doing this. I've got to give kudos to the people that are helping us from the licensing side, because there's some folks here that have been working with Lee for decades at this point that are helping out tremendously, and I would not be able to be crafting the set list the way I've been working on it if it wasn't for that licensing side of things. So huge shout out to them. Don't want to blow them up name wise just because that would be unfair when I haven't told them I'd be doing that. So, but much love because legitimately absolute legends there. Couldn't say it enough.
Absolutely. And I do want to say this too. Jason's not the only one doing this, making the set list. Primarily, he was creating the bones, but he's getting feedback from everybody on the team, from you guys, the viewers. Early on when we first announced the RedOctane Games studio, back in August already of last year. Early on, we put out some forums for you guys, the community, to tell us what you want to see, and those forums have been very helpful, very very helpful. I haven't checked it recently, but I think we're getting close to about 30,000 submissions to that forum. of different songs and artists. Like, to peel back the curtain a little bit further, we have, a big spreadsheet where we're, keeping track of the songs that we are trying to license, have fully licensed, etc. And one of the columns that we use is the amount of suggestions that we got in the from that form, just to know, like, because we're not necessarily saying, okay, this is the most requested song, okay, let's get that song. It's not necessarily how it works. It's more so just one more data point for us to consider when finding a song, if people are aware of it or if they want it specifically, because we found some pretty cool songs that not a lot of people know about or have thought about putting in the game that I'm really excited for people to see them, because there's a couple hidden gems, I think, that we find, and some that might become memeable perhaps, or maybe even like legendary in their own right. You never know. It's been kind of a joy getting to be exposed to a lot of music that I haven't found myself. A lot of it actually came from labels themselves. We're reaching out to labels about this specific song or whatever. They're like, that's cool. Also, hey, we have these other artists. Would you be interested in doing anything with these guys? And they send us a big long list of other artists and songs and listening to. And a lot of times it's like, that's pretty good. Oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, I have to consider that too. It's been very cool.
There's been some really cool pitches, and just to be completely like transparent on this too, like one of my favorite things from content creation back when I was doing a lot of Clone Hero streams is I used to do request streams where people would just come in and they'd request songs like, hey, have you heard this? Hey, introduce Jason to new music, right? And it almost feels like I've been able to get some of that old vibe into what we're doing right now with this game, right? Like my hope is that long term.
I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like long term, I'm really hoping that people who played, Guitar Hero Rock Band in the past, who have kids now, that they'll be able to pick up a guitar and be like, hey, this is a really cool song. Maybe my son's going to want to play real guitar long term because they learned about XYZ song in Stage Tour. Get some of that old request stream vibe going in the actual game.
I was going to say, like, I remember, like, a recent, conversation I had with somebody, I was like, oh, yeah, you play a lot of Guitar Hero? Dude, I love that song 6 by All That Remains. That was, like, the best song in the old games, specifically. And so, like, we have, like, the spirit of the old games. Like, we're trying to put people on to something, like, sick. Because, like, we have been put on. You know what I mean?
Yep. So,
like Jason said, it's like that whole vibe of us being able to share something cool, and that's music discovery. So yeah, no, I just really think that the set list is sick. It's really sick because I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it right now.
Wouldn't you like to see it? You can't see anything yet.
Stop teasing people. Stop it.
Stay patient. Anyways, enough about the music. I'm very confident in what we got. I'm very happy with where we are. Next question on the page. Will a guitar controller be sold with the game? Yes. A Gibson Kramer guitar bundle option will be available. More details soon. If you guys haven't seen the Kramer, here it is. This is what we got going on right now. It's not final. It's very early. It's still subject to change. Who knows if it's even going to be red? Maybe it's a different color. Just a concept right now. But looks nice. I can say that I've seen one when I was at your office.
It's more than a concept.
Yeah, it's further than just conceptual phase. I played a real one, a real prototype of it at the office, but
Real
it's
quick,
cool guitar.
I've seen in the blog that Lee put out, so maybe Lee, you can share some info. You mentioned that most likely it'll be a digital download bundle paired with the guitar. Is there anything else you'd like to say about that?
Yeah. Look, I think with all the music and stuff and the way these things get sort of delivered today, and also the cost of and the risk of all this bundling, because I mean that's one of the biggest worries, from the industry in general. Is like, oh no, it's not going to be landfill again, is it? And I was like, no, it's a digital download first and foremost. This game, but I think we all believe that if we're going to expand back out into console world and stuff like this, it's traditional to have, to buy a guitar and then have your game with it, kind of thing. So that's that's what I mean. The digital, it'll either be a digital code on a card, or it'll be on some way of activating, your full game, on the platform of choice in a sense. So the Kramer will be the Kramer, and then you'll get the game with it in a sense. Just won't be a disc at this point. So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's just the state of the industry. Digital is on the rise.
Yeah. Well,
some consoles don't even have disk drives.
It's massively dominant now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think, of course, I guess over the last few years, with festival and sort of and also the kind of recharge through the Riffmaster, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people bought Riffmasters when they bought that out and stuff. So there's a lot of people with guitars out there already that just might want to buy the game download kind of thing. We're going to support as much as we can as far as devices. So things like Riffmaster, which is predominantly console and official. I mean the Xbox One works fine on PC as well. So we'll support all those kind of things. Why not?
Yeah, the more the merrier.
I think it's a very different. I think it's a different world to back in those crazy days, where you had this Activision versus this and all this kind of firing off. I think the world's grown up a lot. I also think that if you look at the folks over there at Epic, they've got a great game in Fortnite, and then of course they've got those goats at Harmonix doing stuff in Festival, and we still speak. We're still good friends with those folks. We see this, I think, more as a it's not like the old days. It's like there's a way of enjoying this kind of thing that way, or that'll be the more traditional way, which is the way sort of we're going in a sense. But
you can have two cakes and eat both of them.
And I think if you work, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be some massive competition. You work together. Things like compatibility of instruments and stuff. You're kind of working. You've got to work for the player, the gamer. Not let's try and screw the other side up by not supporting. Do you know what I mean? It's that doesn't make any sense. Especially when you're coming from where we're coming from. So it's I think I just feel the world's a little bit more nicer.
Yeah.
In our world, I don't mean the world's
in
nicer.
Our world.
Yeah, the world at large. It's a different
world.
Our world, yeah.
Well, the world's always
been
a bit
crazy
crazy.
Thing to say, like today,
with current events.
No, but in our world, this genre has been through really been through it, right? Been through the rose bushes. So you've had that massive hockey stick. You've had massive crashes. You've had people trying, obviously folks trying to keep it together, but not happening. Then you've had the years of, folks just trying to make things just to still get the experience the best they can. So that also makes us more thoughtful, I guess, right? At how we're coming at this. If this was just let's just get something out to nostalgic play and be done, then it wouldn't really matter, would it? Really? But this is a bit different. I think there's a place for everyone to play. If people are playing from the right position, in a sense, with the right heart, I think we can all make a difference here. And it doesn't have to be, in 2 years, $1 billion. If it is, great, we'll take it. As I've said before, but it's not a thing that that's not really the driver here. It's it's getting that experience back, and making a business of it, of course, so it can sustain itself. And I think sustainability is really the the key here, and you only really do that if you make a good game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you make a really crap game, then it won't sustain, will it? So
yeah, it won't go anywhere.
So
yeah,
that's my 2 seconds worth.
Yeah, if you got a guitar controller, I mean, these games are already so niche as it is. If you have a guitar controller that you should be able to use it, is kind of how we're thinking about it in the broadest sense possible. Even if it's not like an officially supported guitar, like if you could use a PS2 guitar if you wanted to, if you have the right adapter. It's just a matter of getting that adapter. A lot of different community adapters out there exist, and it's reasonable to assume that there'd be some way to connect it to our game in one way or another. Whether or not it's official or not is a different story, but if you have a guitar, we want to be able to use it. A lot of people, that's something I've seen a lot too, in the feedback we've received so far, like on social media. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to break out my old Explorer to play this game or whatever. I'm like, it'd be cool if you could break out the Explorer for this game too, and I think, at least on PC, it should work. It's just X input.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you stopped playing video games in 2008 or whatever, grew up, got a job, got the $5,000 PC, and you're like, oh man, there's stage tour, I want to break out the old Explorer, and you kept it clean the whole time, and you just plug it in, it should just work. I know there's so many people, and I'm just saying, objectively, this just happened. When Pro Guitar dropped on Fortnite, people couldn't use their Explorers. Because there were the other people that was just like, hey, you know what? I just want to be able to use my shit. I want to just work. I'm on PC, so I shouldn't be able to. I shouldn't have to jump through hoops. But that's just what happened. That is just what happened. But with Stage Tour, we just want you to be able to bust out the old shit, and then it can work.
Exactly. We want it to be as accessible as possible. Even if you don't have the old shit, do you have a controller? Even a 360 controller, for that matter, because it's right in front, right in arm's reach. You can use a gamepad in their game too, or a keyboard. You don't have to have a controller. If you're on PC, you just have a keyboard. You can play the game. I want everybody to play the game. But I think we spent a lot of time on that.
Music at your fingertips.
Let's go to the next question. Can I get my band's music in the game? Well, we'd love to learn more. Fill out the music licensing form and we may contact you. This has been something that we've got quite a bit of traction on so far already. I'll say that. Interesting things. Again, can't promise you anything, but it's nice just to have an idea of what's out there, who is interested, etc. Even if it doesn't end up being like an on-disc song, maybe DLC in the future. We got to figure out a good roster of DLC, folks, and we want to involve the community as much as we can. If you're the community and you make some banging tunes, we want to include them if we can work out the details with you.
I'll drop one little lore piece here, because I feel like this is worth mentioning. When we first opened up the music licensing form, this is back before we even announced Stage Tour as the name, on the RedOctane Games website, we did have a band's manager reach out that is now confirmed to be on the main set list for the game.
Yeah.
It works, folks.
Yeah, that just happened. It fucking works.
Yeah, it did just happen, I think.
It wasn't ABBA, was it?
It was not ABBA. We can confirm.
Sorry. Sorry, Lee. I tried for you. I tried.
But yeah, if you
like
if
a
you
holy
make music,
grail.
All right.
that'd be crazy. They had a whole game about them. Was that Lips that made an ABBA game, or was that like Six Star?
Yeah, Lips ABBA. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it was. Maybe it was.
I don't remember which one it was. It was some singing game that had a full ABBA game. I don't know. Next few questions are pretty self-explanatory. Hey, how can I stay up to date with all the latest info? Follow Stage Tour Game on all social platforms. Sign up for the mailing list above. You'll get all the latest updates from us. How can I get involved? If you're a creator, a musician, member of the press or media, or simply want to get in touch, use the sign-up forms below, and we may contact you. Just get some information from me. These buttons right here, folks. If you want any more specific information from us, if you want to tell us anything that you think might be of interest to us, fill those out. Let us know. We've already kind of talked about this at length. Is the community involved in shaping the game? Of course. It's made by the community, shaped by the community, and those are the people who kept this whole genre alive for a long time without any proper official game, and want to do right by them. Not just the community. This isn't only for the hardcorest of hardcore players. We want to cast as a wider net than just that. These games at its core are kind of a party game. And that's something I've seen a lot too. Is make sure that I can get 3 of my drunk buddies into a game without fumbling through a bunch of menus. That was like almost verbatim a comment that I saw on our Facebook, I believe was the other day. Like, that's what a lot of people like. That's the fond memories that a lot of people have of this genre of games from back 15, 20 years ago, is just having a Rock Band night or a Guitar Hero party or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's no different now. Mm-hmm. It's just that the community that is formed around this is more hardcore than just that, because that's just how it goes, especially with a niche game 20 years old or whatever. But that is the core, and we want to remain in that type of friend group as well. We want that to be a possibility. But only 2 more questions on here that are pretty quick. We'll just go through them, and then we'll get to the community questions from the Discord. Will there be early access or playtesting opportunities? Yes, we plan to have multiple rounds of closed and open testing. Follow us on socials updates for updates and sign up to be notified, of course. And how to join the Discord? Go to stgame.io/Discord. We can talk to you right there. That's probably the easiest way to get direct talks with us, the people who are making it, because we're pretty active on there. We're always watching. But yeah, that's our site FAQ. We may be adding more questions to that as time goes on, depending on what the prevailing questions are that we see from social media or on the Discord or wherever. But I think we get into those now. Jason, you want to lead on that one?
Yeah.
Sure, actually, no.
I think
Lee should lead on this first one because he talked about it in his blog post. Why announce no sequel already?
I was just gonna say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you saying no stage 2 or 2? Why are you already counting that out?
Wait. What do you mean that this will be a platform?
I mean, it's a game first, obviously, before a platform. I guess you've got to build into a platform. I just think that through, and everyone, when we sort of said on that thing that we talked about these events throughout the year or things that we build. It again, not just DLC songs. I think we generally have to build this thing over a longer period of time. So instead of having somebody, in 12 months' time, buy a whole new game again, with a few more modes and a few tweaks here and there, why wouldn't you just do that over the year into the next holiday or whatever it is? So the folks that have already bought it kind of have got it along the way, whether that's paid updates, with content and stuff, or it's just updates. It could be a mixture of all. So I think that's the way we've thought about this, is that, we don't want to get on that treadmill of this annual release. I know it can help at Christmas and stuff with little sales spikes, but no, let's just get ourselves installed, and then build out with a greater game, and that comes through constant feedback, because the world's moving at a fast clip, so as we're seeing something, once we're out and we're starting to play live, and new players come in, new ideas come in, and we want to be able to take that and sort of scratch our heads and see what we can do with it, and see if it's see if there's ways of improving the game over time, or making new parts of the game. I think that's the reason, So we are traditional in a sense that we are a paid game, rock centric out the gate and all that kind of stuff. So that is I guess that's the nostalgia piece. But we are quite modern in the way we're thinking, building this out over time. It shouldn't be a one and done. Before moving on to the next one.
So officially not a live service, free to play. Officially not.
Not right now. That's not what we're thinking, and that's not what we're building. So, and I think that's important as well, because again, with free to play games comes the monetization question. In how do you get people to monetize? And it changes fundamentally the way you play the game. I believe that, yeah. I believe that. I don't know if you believe it, but we've sort of spoken about it. I think, if something's free, it's not really free, is it?
Yeah, you pay for it in one way or another. I'll tell you this: I've spent many thousands of dollars in free games, Counter-Strike 2, not because I had to, but because you know.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go into that. They're getting sued now by New York, so you know.
No, I mean, but remember, I said not right now, and but I don't see it. We just don't see it right now. You know, again, how you would make something that would be some sort of service for whatever. You know, again, I just can't. I can't fully see it, or we can't fully see it, right? But I think we have to be out, you know, and developing over time to see where things go. Like, you know, I think Call of Duty is a paid game, right? But then there's the free to play part of that, right? That you can go and just sort of play. It's a bit of a different experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you still shoot a gun, right? And stuff like that.
Core mechanics are the same, but it's
not the same.
Different. Yeah, I mean, the example I used before, Counter-Strike.
So
Counter-Strike Global Offensive was a paid game, and then they made it free to play down the line. That wasn't their initial intention, but it ended up working out pretty well for them in the long run. So, not necessarily counting out the option, but it's not the plan.
No, because I think what happens is there's things that, with Counter-Strike in particular, I think things have. Yeah, it was just an evolution of where they went with certain things. They got such an influx and such a game there, in a sense, that they could build a business case for that, and people were satisfied with it still, right? If you're out the gate trying to do that, it's incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the game, high guard game, right? I mean, we could say what we like about it, but it was essentially a free to play game, and it's really hard to be different.
Yeah, different and break out. You know, to compete with every other game that's out there for your time and attention and dollars. It's not easy at all. There's a very established type of hierarchy going on now, where like these dozen games are where most people spend their time, and if you're trying to compete with those, it's going to be tough to break in. You got to have something really like groundbreaking to really break the mold. Arc Raiders is one that's kind of like broken the mold, but that's a paid game. You know, it's not free.
Paid game.
Yep. Yeah, and it came off the back of the finals. That was a free game.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? That they had done the finals, and then they were doing two games at once. One was that, and one wasn't, and it was the actual paid game that kind of won out for them. So it's a tough world out there, and I think what we should what we're focusing on is what we know best. You know, where we believe we have an advantage. When I say an advantage, I mean just an advantage that we kind of have experience, and we have a lot of folks working on this project who are so vested in it, you know, and a lot of experience. Like, you know, I mean, you say you never worked on a game before, Moose, but you know, you've kind of.
I know these games very well, though.
Since you're a kid, like, you know, and it hasn't stopped. You know, it's not like you played it for a week and then had 10 years off.
Yeah, no, never put it down.
You know. So that's all. So these are all these. This is kind of this big mixing bowl, as my mother used to put it. You know, you put all the fruit in there and all the stuff, and then you make this amazing fruit cake, and it tastes the best. And that's what hopefully this will.
Greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I'm the cherry.
You're the cherry on top. John Crack Cherry.
No, I'm only joking. Yeah.
So let's go over to another special fruit for our fruit cake that we're building then, which I guess is Gibson. The Gibson partnership was a huge part of the trailer. The announcement that we're working with them, not just on the Kramer, but that they're a part of the stage tour game. What does this partnership mean to what we're building, and why is it so important?
I think back from when we did the cracked stuff. I mean, it isn't even a year ago, is it? Or is it? Where are we now? Just over a year ago, right?
A little bit over a year.
Yeah, it didn't start shipping until about July, so it's only been 8 months since people have had it in their hands.
Yeah, delivery.
The announcement of the partnership, though, that was definitely a year ago.
Yeah, so about a year ago. So and this started out, of course, just on the hardware side. but actually, even then, I mean, they were so interested in this in a really sort of cool way. And then when we started, I went down there to Nashville and talked to them about, what we had planned here with Stage Tour. It was prior to us announcing Red Octane, but we were ready in a sense. Everyone knew the components and stuff. And spent a couple of days down there with them. And it was insane. They really got into it. And the company, you go down there and they've got this sort of Gibson garage thing where there's a full stage. It's their retail store in the day, but at night all the retail things sort of go to one side, and it's a stage where people come and play, like, in Nashville. So artists just come on, and also they've got this sort of it's kind of like a dungeon, I guess, where there's a whole bunch of like museum pieces in there. So it's just an amazing experience. And they've got this whole, it's not really a museum, but it is, where they've got these guitars that are like 100 odd years old. It's the first this type of guitar. Guess who done the first this type of guitar? And it's always a Gibson. So they got really into what we were trying to do here. So I would say, of course, in the game, we're gonna have a ton of Gibson guitars and Gibson things, but it will go further than that in the game. It'll be very evident. I'm not going to say much more than that, but it's a true coming together, a true collaboration, and it's again done for the right reasons. It's not some big old commercial thing. It's just like, of course we love Gibson as well, but they see the value in these games. People playing these games and then becoming inspired to actually play, real instruments and stuff. So they see the value of that. So that they see it more of as a massive collab, I guess. But yeah, they've been superb, and they'll continue to be superb. They've sort of always been there, and I mean, even in the launch week here, they were pretty active. So super stoked about that.
Yeah, I can say this for sure. With Gibson on the social media side of things, they were very receptive to like doing collaborations on the platforms that allow you to do collaborations, like YouTube now, Instagram, and TikTok. I think they're like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's throw Kramer in there too. Let's get all sorts of collaborations together. Let's get everybody involved. So they've been very, very open and willing partners so far with everything that we've kind of thrown their way, which is very nice to see.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, nice people over there.
It's really neat to see that we have a real manufacturer for, like actual physical guitars, not just the controllers, on our side for this. Because I think back to the old games and how many people were inspired from Guitar Hero and Rock Band to pick up real guitars. I mean, I mentioned my time with Rocksmith at one point in the past. And like, I swear every time we asked for polls, it was like, hey, Guitar Hero was what made me pick this up. Rock Band was what made me pick this up. Yeah. It's just a very obvious pipeline. If you're interested in these games and you like moving your hand around on a fretboard, well, then you go, oh, I wonder if I could learn to do this. And hey, now I can go write my own songs. And it's just such a natural progression. So it's hopeful that this could, inspire some people to pick up a real instrument.
Yeah, let's go on to the next question here. There's a couple more that's listed that we've already kind of talked about. What's Groove? Already talked about that. Will it be a dedicated gamepad mode? Yeah, more information to follow, though. Keep your eyes peeled on that. Here's a big one that we've kind of seen a lot, and it's something that we're going to have to kind of come up against in terms of like public perception. It's like, well, Clone Hero and Yarg are free, and I can put any song in the game that I want. Can I put songs from Clone Hero and Yarg into your game? No, can't do that with our game. It's not the purpose.
let me throw something in here because I just mentioned Rocksmith again, and for my time there, this is another like just legitimate thing that came up all the time there. Being a part of the licensing side for what we're doing here and seeing this in the past, customs do make it a lot harder to officially license songs. That's something that is very much a thing, right? I can name many bands who came back to us when I was on the Rocksmith team and said, "Hey, we've seen you already put our songs in your game. You're already illegally using our music. We don't want to work with you." And they don't understand the intricacies of somebody modding that into a game and using a custom song. That makes it very difficult. We are trying to build something here that we are making sure the artists get compensated. That's something that we feel very strongly about, and again, this is hopefully going to be something long term. So who the hell knows where we go years down the line if this is successful? But as of right now, with what we're building, importing charts that are already made from other games doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do.
No, and like there already is a place for you to play those games, and that's Clone Hero and Yarg, and I think that's where they will always kind of have a foothold in our community as the customs platforms of choice. What we want to build here with Stage Tour is more than just playing songs, more than just hitting notes. You could do that.
Let's be clear. Yeah, let's be clear. We are making something that is different from those games. And it's going to be on PC and consoles. It's a different idea. It's something new.
Yep.
You guys have not seen like 99% of the game. You just haven't.
Yeah, and that's something I've had to remind myself of a few times when looking at feedback. It's like, well, they only know what we showed them so far, and we haven't showed them a lot. Less than a minute of not even gameplay. There's only a few seconds really of a highway on the screen. Other than that, it was mostly just
10
an
seconds,
introduction to the world. Like, there's a lot in this game. We have a very strong vision. We have a lot of cool things in the pipeline. We can't talk about them yet. Stay tuned. But if you're just looking to play music with notes to it, you can do that in our game for sure. There's going to be a quick play mode where you can hop in and play songs to your heart's desire, much like Clone Hero, much like Yarg. But there'll be more things that those games might not be able to offer you. I'll keep it vague.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, if you're talking about quick play, I guess the next question that comes to mind is, are we going to have practice mode?
It's a great question.
Yes.
Me personally, I think that.
No.
Wait, I thought it was cheating.
No, we can't.
No,
we
Lee,
it.
no,
We got rid of that.
Cancelled it.
no.
Too many people said that.
I
No,
wanted to
practice mode's
save
cheating.
an extra $10 for my oranges.
It's cheating.
We're gonna have practice mode. It's gonna be in the game for sure. To
Can
us,
I
we
tweet
feel
that
like,
right now?
What?
I'm fucking sick of it. Can I just tweet it right now? I just want to say, Stage Tour has practice mode. All
No.
caps.
No, this is gonna be a Lore Hero exclusive. There's going to be articles written about this podcast quoting us saying yes. Just kidding.
I'm going to tweet it out on Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
You can link the episode with it. There you go.
Fine.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect marketing. Okay, we just figured that out in real time. But yes,
All
practice
right,
mode will be in the game. We think that's a very core part of the experience of these games is having a practice mode. And yeah, practice mode.
Pretty cool.
Maybe it'd be a better practice mode than anyone's ever seen before.
Never
I
know.
honestly agree.
Giving stuff away.
Well, maybe the practice mode is for. There's different practice modes for different people.
Who knows?
I'm just thinking ideas now.
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of time before release. Just saying.
So,
Here's another one that's come up quite a bit. I've had people asking quite a bit about, hey, is there going to be open notes? And we've been open about this in our Discord.
Nice.
That we are not going to be using open notes in our game. So, why did we decide not to do open notes? I can share a little bit on that, and I'd love you guys to as well.
For anybody who doesn't know what an open note is, that's the notes that are a big purple bar traditionally, and you don't have to hold down any buttons. You just strum it. No fret buttons. Traditionally, those in the original Guitar Hero games, that was a note that was exclusive to bass. That was kind of their solution to differentiate bass from lead, or guitar rather, and then give it something special. But it's always kind of been a divisive thing, a divisive note type that not many people. Some people love them, but many people hate them. And when I was kind of going through the thought process in my head about whether or not I would personally like to see an open note, the way I thought about it was like this. The people who love open notes will be very happy to see an open note in the game. The people who hate open notes will be pissed off that there's an open note in the game, so much so that where they may just not play the game at all. However, if there are no open notes in the game, the open note haters are fine, obviously, because they don't care. There's no open notes, good. But the people who love open notes are also like, okay, that's cool. I still like a 5-fret game. This is awesome. So, like, if you're thinking about it from that lens, it makes kind of more sense. We're alienating less players in a way, but also it changes some things. Changes some thought processes.
The fact that you had to explain what open notes are says enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't a classic feature.
Because, right, the only game that ever had open notes on guitar was GH Live. And, hey, I think I streamed GH Live the most out of all of us here. Everyone talked about how much they hated it, right? Yeah. It was one of those things that the casuals couldn't understand it. They couldn't wrap their mind around it. And I don't mean casual in a bad way. I mean people that are hardcore tapped in, playing every day. Right, I'm using it in just the most broad sense there. That was one of those things that I saw how many people were divided over it, and it's still a combative thing in the hardcore side as well, where some people like it, some people don't. And hey, there's still going to be ways to play games with open notes in there, but we want this to be something that if people are coming back after having, they haven't played since GH3, and they want to play it with their kids, that they don't have to worry about, hey, what is this line? I don't remember this. Because the first game that had that was World Tour on bass. And unless you were a real big bass player back then, or you liked GH Live, or you played really hardcore side of the Clone Hero community /Yarg, you might not know what the hell it is. And then it's kind of a little off-putting potentially, and we want to avoid that.
Mm-hmm. It's something that people run into today still, with finding songs for Clone Hero. Like, you can go on Chorus and search up whatever song you want, and you can see a little preview of it. I think there's even a little flag in there that says, has open notes, yes or no. So people who don't like open notes can filter those out. And,
I remember.
I'll tell you this, when I'm searching for songs on Clone Hero, if I'm looking for a specific song, I see it as open notes, I'm like, oh man. That's just kind of how I feel. It's like, oh, okay. I'd kind of prefer if they just weren't there, though. That's just me personally, though. But I know people love them, though. Some people love them. It does add a 6th fret.
Ironic, you're wearing a purple shirt, buddy.
Yeah, I am wearing a purple shirt. This purple shirt, actually, I stole from Lee's office. It's a Lord of the Rings shirt. There's a big old rack of, Lord of the Rings stuff there. This is, all Lord of the Ringsy.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Shit. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like it. I
love it.
There was one other
glass with this artwork on there, too.
There was one other piece that we considered when it came to the open notes that I do want to touch on, because I saw this come up in the Discord as well. Why not Expert Plus adds open notes was something that people had said quite a few times. And we had actually talked about that it came up behind the scenes as well. But the reason we decided against that, at least for right now, is one of those things where if we put that as an option, then anybody who's not playing at that level, it's like, oh, you can't play on Expert Plus. It doesn't really become oh, hey, this is an option. It's oh, you're not playing at the hardest difficulty.
It becomes the new de facto
different.
Standard.
Yeah.
We don't want to create a 2-tier system of expert versus expert, plus open notes players, and create 2 different charts for each song. It's more of a hassle than it's worth, kind of, but logistically, it just didn't really fit in with our vision.
That being said, I think Expert Plus on drums is still relevant.
I totally agree. That's a different instrument, bro.
A very different instrument, very
That's
different. Different things.
That's very, very different.
Adds.
And I think there's actually a fine line. There is a very big difference on drums when it comes to regular Expert Plus. We're just talking off of Guitar Hero Metallica, really. Or even Warriors of Rock, because it added ghost notes in that game. Just completely different vibes. Some songs like Bat Country is completely different. With the little interlude parts having the ghost note roll, and then expert not having it. I mean, it's just, hey, it's a different experience, different instrument. Drums is still very important in that regard, but guitar, I think our mind is set there.
Yeah. And this was something that I saw at least a couple people were saying, like, you know, maybe Expert Plus mode on guitar would include like tap notes and would include extended sustains. Brother, those are already going to be in the game. I'm sorry. I'll confirm it right here, right now. We don't have to have extra modes to add that. So, like, when we're saying, no open notes because they weren't in Guitar Hero 3 or whatever, don't take that literally and say that only the note types from Guitar Hero 3 is going to be in the game, like hammer-ons and strum notes. Everything else is still fair game. We can and will be adding some other, you know, fancy note types that you've seen in other later games. But just because the exclusion of open notes is there doesn't mean we're excluding all that other stuff as well. Some people were confused about that. And the way that we worded it earlier could be misconstrued in that way, where it's like, well, classic games didn't have it, so we don't want it. Not the case. If we feel like it adds to the experience, we'll add it, such as a tap note, such as an extended sustain.
Like, you know, for charting piano or something, I'm not going to chart it as strums.
No, it makes more sense to tap it like you tap on a piano key.
It just makes sense to tap it. Yeah. I think that doesn't give away like anything at all. I mean, like, that's just like normal. That's our philosophy. We're explaining our philosophy to you guys.
Yeah.
So just in case you're wondering what type of game this is, it's got the ideas from what makes things fun of like the custom side of Guitar Hero, Clone Hero and stuff. Just no open notes.
Mm-hmm. And also,
if you think about it, it's like probably the best way that you could play a song. If you think about it. So there you go. Some people
we talked about keys kind of briefly. People have been like, is it going to be a keyboard mode? Keyboard mode is kind of lumped into lead, right? Because we want to have lead be the most like
keyboard. Yes,
you can play keyboard, not
like piano. No.
Yeah, not like that. But like the example I always think of when I'm thinking of like the keyboard mode is Bohemian Rhapsody from Rock Band 3. You don't do anything on guitar for the first like 2 minutes because there's no guitar. It's only keyboard. That's boring. I'm sorry. On guitar, It's boring. So keys is doing something. Bass is doing nothing for the most part. Guitar's doing nothing. Let's just combine them, bro. Let's make guitar and keyboard do the same thing, like Warriors of Rock did. In fact, they had the same song a month apart in different games. It was a lot more fun to play for me personally on guitar in that game because they alt-charted keys to the guitar. It's all about keeping, you know, the most fun thing possible at that time happening for the thing, and separating keys away from lead, in my opinion, leads to a less fun experience on lead and an okay experience on keys.
I agree.
Yep. And you're the keys player. You've been doing that shit a lot.
Somebody who, I hop back on it because just to understand, you know, the separation and all that stuff. Hey, it was research for the game, low key. I was like, hey, what was so special about keys? When I found out what made keys so special, but then also I was like, you know, what made Guitar Hero super special in the beginning was that I really liked the little flair that there would be in the early games where I'm playing something that's not a guitar. It made it feel like a good rhythm game at that point in time. Because other rhythm games, like Dance Dance Revolution, whatever, you're just playing whatever you fucking hear. And like, while that is awesome, like I was missing that on the guitar games, or I really liked how they kind of just did it every once in a while on the early Guitar Hero games. Then later they separated it a little more, but you're right. You know, even as late as Warriors of Rock, even in GH Live, they all chart keys. You know what I mean? It just adds that extra flair to it. Mm-hmm. You know, I like it. I like that flair. I want it to be a normal thing, not just a thing that was like, oh yeah, we'll sprinkle it in this song. No. I want Carry On Wayward Son keyboard solo charted like it was, you know, like when we
thank you Fortnite for that
shit, you know.
And that was a great example. That was a big deal actually when Carry On Wayward Son came to pro lead on Fortnite. That was like, finally we got a good chart of Carry On Wayward Son. I've been wanting this for years. Like that's the best chart there's been because we have the keys solo, and it just makes it more exciting and interesting. And yeah, if they're doing something well over there, we want to take inspiration from that, and learn the lessons from that we can, and implement it in ways that make sense to us. So that's that.
Real quick, since we had just talked a little bit about drums in there too, I'd love to let Lee have a chance to talk about how things are going with drums, since he talked about it a little bit in his blog.
Yeah, drums. of course, as I said, our game has drums, and of course we announced that we were doing drums, crack drums and stuff. I think the one thing, I was over in China in early January. God, yep, I was. Of course, now we're looking at drums. Obviously, there'll be the drum kit that we sort of set out to do, which was, if you think of the drum kit like our Pro guitar in a sense, the Blueberry Burst Pro guitar in a sense, where it sort of covers tons of things, kind of thing. But then we've got these. Obviously, we've got this game coming now with these first parties as well. So obviously, now we're mapping all that across everywhere. I think also there's some things that we sort of picked up. I sort of dug into in January that was really interesting and fun, which I'm not gonna announce that here because I've still got a bit of testing to do on. But something that kind of is a little bit more of an upgrade option as well, I think, for folks without buying whole new drum kits and stuff. I think the other interesting thing here, I think, again, looking back to the past, is, a lot of the stuff we've done on these guitars with the app, I think that's probably even more relative with drums. If you can imagine that when you have these drum kits and you have 4 pads, and then you can add these other cymbals and all these other things on there. I think something that's quite important is to be able to independently fine tune every head on these things, how you want them, whether you want them, super sensitive or not so sensitive. So that's another thing that we're kind of digging into here as well, because I think that's something that, it doesn't cost us a lot to do because we kind of already have the tech stack to do it, right? But it's now, kind of homing in on that. So I think, So I think the drums should be. I think we'll get them out before. The idea is to get them out before the game ships, but just because, we can, like we have guitars here, because there's people that can play drums, Rock Band 4, and maybe at some point here, Festival will also, support some drum stuff. I mean, you could still map it up to.
That's a confirmation, folks. I'm not talking about pro drums. I'm talking about confirming that the crack drums will work on other games. That's been a question, like not necessarily about the game specifically, but like the crack drums. You're making new drums. Will it work on Rock Band? Oh, of course, yeah. And I think also when we looked at, when you looked at the, how we set about drums, and you can just see from the pictures we released. I'm actually showing kind of gone now. We've gone kind of the Rock Band route in a sense, not the old Guitar Hero route or something different just to try and be different for the sake of being different. I mean, that was something I think we spoke about, Alec, right, quite early on, was, hey, for the masses and the folks, let's just try and get it at least lining up with a highway like Rock Band did, and there's things we can do, I think, that we can improve on over the legacy stuff, I hope. It's always subjective, right? As we know. But yeah, so I think I think let's try and get some out meaningful. Maybe the first ones that would come out would be the sort of the multi-platform version. That's what we'd get out in advance, and then maybe the the console licensed ones would probably line up closer to the game. So, and also that multi-platform area drums are real,
gives
folks.
us more time to cook, more time to it gives us more time to cook as well, because we've got it's our own area. We don't have to go testing Japan and stuff for little pieces of console parts as we do. But that's coming along quite nicely, and again, I think relatively soon, there'll be folks. There's some key folks, drummers in the community and stuff. I think once we start getting our sort of prototypes in that, can take a proper slapping, then we'll start getting them out to a few folks who, who really play this, and we'll take the feedback, kind of like we did on guitar stuff.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, the idea is to have them.
I was hoping that you'd have a prototype at the office.
Yeah, ready
there
to
wasn't.
Go. No, there was a Chinese New Year that came, as you know, and there's been. I mean, there was prototypes in January over there, but there's no point in just having a thing when some of the boards are still being spun and respun and respun. Like, quite expensive to make these drum kits, as prototypes. So you kind of want to make them as prototypes, like fully functioning, versus. Yeah, there's something to look at in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. In some ways, it's easier than obviously the other stuff, but then in other ways it's harder because, again, you've got the inherent things like, crosstalk and stuff like that. You just got to make sure that you've got covered. Which, of course, we have experience, but there's always something that catches you out somewhere along the line. You've got to iron out. So I'm not putting a date on it, but there'll be more info on drums in the coming months. On features and like a bit more of a deeper dive into something. Versus hey, look at this cool thing. Yeah, but.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned, folks.
And then microphones, big time. USB microphones, that's the future. No, I'm only joking.
They're going to be a thing. Stay Sure branded microphones. It is true. It's on the website. It's in the blog post. They look pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah. They're pretty standard stuff.
But it looks clean in the render.
Yeah, one thing is for sure. I was like, man, I want like 5 of those.
They look nice. As long as they have the same quality or better than that Disney mic. Anyways,
that'd be fun.
You have a couple more questions to run through before we're out of time here. One of them was, why no guitar straps on the characters? That is seen a fair bit of times, and turns out guitar straps are a lot of work, a lot harder than you might expect.
There's
of weird
a reason
little
no game has them.
Yeah,
there's a reason.
Except for Karaoke Revolution for some reason. But
and wait, Rock Band VR.
Rock Band VR figured it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of considerations you have to make with a guitar strap. We have a large roster of characters with a lot of varying body sizes and a lot of varying ways that guitars are held. Obviously, I want to rule out the possibility, hey, maybe a year down the line we have some extra time in the development cycle and we want to try to add guitar straps. Who knows? But right now, it's not necessarily a priority.
Clipping into bodies is a thing for different sizes. What about all the different styles of Gibson guitars that we can feature that were mentioned earlier in the episode? The proportions of a bass are going to be a little bit different than a guitar. And if all these models are a little bit of different shapes and sizes, we have to account for all of those on all different character body types and sizes, so that they don't clip in, so that while they're moving around on stage, it moves in a natural way. There's a lot of different things that are taken into account that I would have never realized or thought about before getting into this position. So I always, when it was brought up here, I've always thought like, oh, wow, that is pretty crazy. I wonder if we could do that. It's hard, man. There's a reason most people don't do it in their games. Just saying. Yeah, and I feel like the negatives would outweigh the positives. Yeah, having a guitar strap would be cool. But if it ever clips into the body ever, it's like, ooh, immersion broken. Don't like that. Don't like it. Yep. At this point, I think it's looked at as more of a risk than it's worth. I didn't realize that the games didn't have them ever until you all pointed it out to me. And that was, a few months ago? Yeah, it was something I never really thought about as a kid.
I genuinely even like with some of those crazy star power animations, like back in the day, where like
I noticed
throw it
that
around their head or whatever. It's like I never even really thought twice about how the guitar's doing that. There should be a strap that's holding it around his neck or whatever. I don't know.
I definitely put it together. I definitely put it together as a kid, and I was just like, well, there's probably some crazy technology that we don't know about.
It's Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Bluetooth strap.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll sell you one of those. We'll sell you a Bluetooth strap for your crack guitar. It's free. It's free with every order, actually, along with a real strap. Jason, want to take this last question we got here, unless we have any more additions?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so one of the questions that came up that I've seen quite a few people ask is, hey, why didn't they address stems? Will there be stem usage in the game? You know, will if you miss a note while you're playing guitar, will the stem be able to drop out? Yes. That is absolutely going to be a thing. Mentioned earlier, we've got the same person doing audio as what's currently being worked on for Fortnite, for Festival. Shout out to Sean. Freak is amazing.
Extremely talented individual.
There's so much kind things I could say about that man, but I don't want to just say you're glazing him either. Because legitimately, dude is just so absolutely talented what he does. And based on the fact that we will, have stems for these songs, you're playing a certain part and you're missing notes, it will be able to drop out and will hopefully help some immersion.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really important part for the immersion part, but a lot of clone games don't really have that because stems aren't widely available unless they've already been licensed by like a game before. And I think missing notes, dropping the guitar part or the drum part or whatever, I think that really does add a lot to the experience, especially for more casual players, because it makes your misses feel more impactful, and when you hit notes, it also feels more impactful because you're not literally pissing off the crowd because you're missing notes, right? If you want to go that deep into it with the immersion of like getting the crowd meter, down because they're missing notes and they can't hear the song, you're fucking up the song, right? That there's a lot there. That more so than just it'd be nice to have stems, makes the song sound better. There's gameplay there, and of course we're gonna have stems.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's not like DJ Max where it's what's the term for it? Where
key
you
sound.
actually hit a note. It's not key sound. No, that would be crazy.
Like per
that
note
would be
stems.
Crazy.
Yeah,
per note stems. That'd be nuts. But we're not.
Or if you hit a note early or late, it actually plays the sound from that. Yeah, late and that's so incredible. Love what they're doing with that, but it's also a lot of work to do.
And I don't think it would translate
honestly,
nearly as well to what we're doing.
Honestly,
No,
I feel like
I
feel like that would only work for maybe drums and like that's it.
Yeah,
That's
guitar.
the only time I think that drums and like piano, but like we're not doing piano in our game, but drums we are. So it's like that. I mean, still either way, unbelievable amount of work. That would be fucking crazy. The game would be like 900 gigs. Who knows?
The size. Man, have you
huge,
seen
bro.
what DJ Max's size is?
Yeah,
And a lot of that's the video backgrounds too. But like, good lord.
Still.
I wonder what the size of our game's going to end up being. That's a question I haven't seen yet, but now I'm wondering. I have no idea. We're not done. Interesting to see, though. Be sure to load up on external hard drives early, folks. It's going to be a 2 terabyte game, first ever.
No. I want to know what's on Lee's mind that we haven't covered. What are you thinking about, Lee, that we haven't talked about tonight?
A couple of things, I guess. I think you're looking back at the reception. I think for the most part, I think we're getting a lot of traction, a lot of coverage, which is great. I think the folks that of course, really only got a small glimpse into something. Maybe it's 30 seconds or whatever that. Is it 30, 35 seconds of
about of actual like what you see of the game instead of the Kramer and the other stuff before you?
Yeah. I think again we go back to it's very hard to go back to some of the mid games because remember it was a twist on the game before in a sense, so everything was kind of just that and adjusted in a sense. But we go back to that first Guitar Hero 1 game that was first seen publicly at E3 in 2005. A couple of days before that, build was delivered on disc, and there it was shown in a sense. So that was a true comp in a sense, right? It was May. What we had actually put together the other day, actually, of course, because we've been flat out on the actual game for real in a sense. I mean, with the exception of a few things, a lot of that was from December, right? A lot of the stuff from our that was the actual assets were already from December. Now, obviously, folks did work on some fine tuning stuff to get it ready for for in 4K and get it all sort of stuff. So when we're looking at stuff, obviously it's kind of cool. People have seen about 30 odd seconds and gone, about certain things. But we're over here, we're sort of down here now, sort of moving on quite fast. But then we've got to sort of also respect that they're sort of seeing something from a little while back whilst we're sort of cracking on forward. Of course, it was important, I think, using that timing window to sort of announce what our game is named and that we're in production and we're coming out at the end of the year. We didn't really want to wait till summer to do that because, I think we wanted to get the train rolling and then that allows us in that early summer to communicate between now and then some things like we have on this call, right? I mean, not call this Law Hero episode in a sense because we're kind of giving like talking about all lots of stuff, which is really cool info. But and then of course for real we can really get going in the summer, going a lot deeper, and of course a lot of the art is just evolving. I mean, it's evolving in real time as well. Things that we're tweaking. It's pretty incredible the speed that we're sort of going at. And then, of course, bringing in other resources into the mix as well. Recently we brought in Third Kind as a co-dev partner. It's a nice bit of lore there as well. Of course, a bunch of those folks were the old freestyle guys, from DJ Hero and GH Live. And that came about through when we announced the RedOctane Games announcement, last year, where Rav had pinged me and said, "Hey, are you going to Gamescom? I'd love to catch up with you. If there's anything we can do to help, if you guys need it, we're here. We still love this stuff." And then I kind of met up with him and then I went to the studio in Leamington when I was over in the UK and kind of realized they still love this stuff. A couple of guys on the team back in those days, they were really young, real younglings, and now they're kind of grown up and done several projects since. So obviously bringing those folks to Simon to try and to see if there's something. And of course, like all of these projects, yes, there is. and of course now they're kind of on helping us, bring this thing to fruition. And I think in the short period of time that they've been working with the team, it's kind of just literally just plugged in and it's been pretty amazing. But again, there are a group of folks that have been through this. Now, of course, we could sit there and go, "Oh, I didn't like 6 Fret or whatever it is." It doesn't. But you know what? They've been through the emotions of, and the trials and tribulations of DJ Hero, and then obviously GH Live. So they know how important it is, and they do generally have love for this. So again, it's bringing people into this game who want to be here. Yeah, not just we need some folks just to do some work.
Yeah, no,
to get it done.
That shows through.
That's
every single person on this team is really passionate about what they're doing. It's more than just a job. I'm sure there's some games out there where people are just like, "Oh, gotta go to work, gotta make this fucking whatever game it is that I don't care about." This is like a different type of thing. Like, this genre is really special. I think it stands out in the greater gaming sphere. it hits it a different way, and it shows with everybody that's working on our team. And the Third Kind people have been great so far. It's only been not too long that they've been with us. It's a pretty recent acquisition for the team, but like what I've seen from them is incredible so far. They've been doing really, really, really good work, and all the people I've talked with over there have been great. So, yeah.
So I mean, so yeah, we are rolling at a clip here. Everyone's working their tails off, and it's step by step. I think another thing, I saw a couple of things where they're coming out this year and yada yada yada. It's just like these games generally are not massively long production games. They never were. That first GH game did not take that long to make. GH3 did not take that long to make. Now, there were bigger teams than what we've got, of course. But, they're not 3-4 year cycles, these games. Or you can make them 3 or 4 years if you want, I guess, right? But it would cost a fortune, and I don't think your game would be in. So it is a very different type of game to, if you're making Tomb Raider, for example, that is pretty massive. Like so really the focus out the gate. We kind of knew what we were building, right? We knew what we were building for all sense and purposes. Like and of course, as we move forward, you folks have tweaked bits and bobs, as and when you've needed to, based on how things are feeling. But so I think people should sort of remember that as well, that we're kind of it's a relatively short period, it seems, but there's a hell of a lot of work that's already gone on, I guess, in the last sort of 8-9 months.
Yeah.
So we've got a really good foundation here of stuff. So from here on in, it's get to feature complete, and then it's just polish.
Yeah.
Polish and tweak.
That's
test,
something to keep
polish,
in mind,
tweak,
too.
Test, feedback.
Like,
feedback, and all this kind of stuff.
Where we are right now with the trailer, it's like much of the development up till in the recent months has just been getting the foundation, getting the base, making sure the engines are able to support all the other features we're going to add on top of it. So like the characters, the art, the animations, those are all kind of relatively recent things that are being developed in the grand scheme of things, and like it's pretty early on what we've shown. I'll say it was kind of bold to show it off in this state, in this very early state. But
I agree.
The reason why we want to do that is so we can kind of get feedback on stuff really early so we can take action. Yeah, the animations aren't complete. Character is not complete. Nothing you saw was complete. The highway is not complete. But now we're able to involve you guys even more in the feedback process to help craft it even further. And before, we kind of had to be secret about things. We couldn't tell you specifically, hey, what do you guys want the highway to look like? But so we had a kind of a vision we're running with, and just experimenting, seeing how it feels. And now you guys can tell us what you guys think about it. And if we may be able to take action based on some feedback we receive.
I've seen people saying, I've seen people saying, well, why did you show it so early? And that there's a reason. We want community feedback. And like I've seen other people say, well, if this was already something that you were, if this is something you've kept working on in these assets from a while ago, that means our feedback doesn't even matter anymore. And it's like, no, we still have a lot of time to go. And a lot of the polish to make art look really crisp and clean is at the end, right? We have so many other things that we can be focused on in the meantime, right? So we do want that community feedback because, again, community is at the heart of this game. And if we would have waited to showcase the game, say, in like the summer, we would have never been able to get the same community feedback and then implement it.
Yeah. I mean, someone had said, a friend within my sort of group showed him some stuff, and he goes, it's cool. It's got a good vibe. I like it. A bit rough around the edges. I mean, it's a dev guy who's not on the project. I mean, it's a bit rough. Exactly. And I said, that's fine. And he went, what do you mean? I said, this is February. We're doing a title announce. It's rough around the edges. Folk will get that. And it, we either don't show something and just show a logo and do a press release, or we show some stuff, and then have a little story from the past. We get the Kramer in there for good measures, and to sort of get the conversation going in a sense, because you polish if you spend too much time polishing that, you're kind of down here, over here now doing this. So why are you spending time polishing that when you're actually working over here like a couple of months in advance of that? So when we come to summer, things will be a lot more kind of obvious. There'll be more polished. There'll be a lot more gameplay, a lot more news, a lot more information about all the things you would expect. And even then, there still will be polished from our alphas and our betas and stuff like that. That's where that direct stuff comes back. So that's the way we're doing this. We're not just rocking up, with either a live action trailer or a cartoon trailer, in the summer, or and all this kind of stuff. We're going at this a different way. We will still have all that cool stuff because we do want to expand the market, expand our player base, from the hardcore in a sense, and bring people back in. But there's a time and place to do that. If we'd have done that now, they would have forgotten us by Christmas time. That those other folks, right? Because that looks cool, and then they'll go off and do something else. So, not everybody is so tapped into this, like, this hardcore community in a sense. The rest, it would be wasted on those other folks this early. So, but we'll get going on that. And I said, yeah, I like you guys. I kind of some of the comments were quite funny. I kind of laughed at them, but some of them were good. Actually, I actually found on a few of them jumping into the build and then sort of playing a bit and going, holy shit, that dude's got a point. And all that dude was looking at, or a dude or dudette or whatever, was probably about 4 or 5 seconds of highway giving us some feedback, and a few of those things I kind of go, yeah, I kind of, from my own perspective, I got so used to playing this way, but actually that dude has a point. And of course we've spoken about it since, and of course it's really important to have it. I mean, again, I think that's the beauty of this community. They don't hold back, right? They're not just gonna
ruthless. Let us have it.
Our skin is thick.
We got thick skin. Seriously, don't hold back. I mean, be respectful, be nice, be kind. Don't be an asshole about it, but let us know everything that you're thinking.
I was gonna say the one thing that's going to help us immensely: spare us pity. All right, we want to make something great. Just know we want to make something great. Okay, Amen. So just tell us. Just tell us, and do it in a way that's nice. I'm just
incompetent devs. These guys need to be executed in their sleep, or don't say anything like that. We don't need to be but just say, oh yeah, the highway. I don't really like the highway. I don't like all the stuff being at the bottom is confusing. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Keep that. Thanks for the feedback. That's good. That's all actionable.
Right. Feedback internalized. Let's go. Let's get cooking. Right.
Constructive feedback is one thing. Saying, "Hey, I hope they'll end up homeless" is another.
Yeah,
right. There's two different.
But that's the world we live in now. That is
the world we live in. Yeah,
that's what I love. I mean, that's just your social media.
That's the nature of it.
Right? I mean, that's just
what it is.
That's what it is. It's kind of it. Of course, it can't be serious. I look at that and I just laugh. I think it's hilariously funny. I don't think it's right, but it's just like, it's just some dude behind on a keyboard, thinking he's a tough guy. But again, even people that say that, if they got some really cool feedback, that's cool as well, right?
Yes.
I
know people think they're funny, but they're not.
We've gotten a lot of feedback. It's been actually very helpful. In my mind, I would consider this whole reveal a success because we've gotten a lot of feedback early on that we can actually take to the team and discuss how to address it, if we address it at all, or maybe it brings a whole different discussion to the table that perhaps we haven't even thought about. Like Lee said earlier, some dude only watched it for 4 seconds and it was like, that looks weird. And then now we're able to look at it as you know what? Maybe we should change that. Having fresh eyes on the situation really helps a lot. with anything, if you're working on a project long term, you kind of become blind to certain things. You just become, used to how something looks right now, and you don't even think about how maybe this isn't the optimal way to do it or present a certain thing. But to others, it might be obvious because they haven't seen it before. They haven't, spent hours looking at it and just internalizing it as it is. So that has been very, I guess, pun intended, eye-opening to me about how certain people are interacting with what we've shown them so far, and how that kind of differed to how I was interacting with it. It made me rethink kind of everything about what I was thinking so far, and I think that's really helpful. This early on, especially. We're recording this in March now. It's March. We've got a long ways to go before this game is out, and the game is going to be better because of your feedback. It just is.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Yeah, agreed. I'm thrilled with the response so far. Even the people that have had really critical feedback, legitimately, like, I'm almost more thankful for that because we now have these things that we can all discuss internally and decide how we want to approach them. And I think we are going to end up having a better game because of it. And I'm excited to share a lot more of what we are still working on behind the scenes with folks, hopefully in the summer, as we gear up towards the eventual launch. It's going to be a really fun rest of the year with the project.
It's going to be a great year. I'm really, really, really,
I mean,
really
you guys,
looking forward
you guys
to
all
it.
put that. You guys put that all fantastically. I don't think that there's a better way to put that, any of that at all. So, I mean, hey, I'm excited, waiting alongside, everybody else that's waiting for this game too, even despite being directly involved. And so, like, I do try, and like with Jake, you're talking about like having fresh eyes on something and too. That's like kind of the role that I do play in a sense, when it comes to the game. And even though that like the game is pretty much all I think about, like outside of what I do, even though that's the case, it's still enough, but it has like that outsider's perspective onto it that I like to give you guys. And so to hear it on this mass scale from everybody else too, very grateful for. And I think it went probably better than I don't know. I'll just be honest. I was expecting lots of conversations, but not this level of conversations. Like this is exactly the type of conversations that we were looking for. Every single type of one. Every single one. The nasty, the constructive, the ones that are cheering us on. All of them. Every single type of conversation that happens is detrimental to this game's development. We look at it heavily. We read everything. We look at everything, and we just want to make something fucking sick. And I think we are.
Did you say detrimental?
Not detrimental. I walked it back real quick, bro. No, not detrimental. Instrumental.
There you go.
Yeah.
Instrumental,
pun intended.
Instrumental's better. That's better.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean though. It's because it's like, bro, if we were in the, we are doing what so many fans of this game would if they were in our shoes, they'd be wanting to do the same things. They'd want to make something amazing.
Can I just be real blunt with you, real quick? It's really intimidating to be having to create a quote unquote follow-up to a series that included Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
It's one of the first video games to ever break $1 billion, right? Like, come on. This is insanely big shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have people in the community who are willing to give us feedback to help us craft a better game is humbling. And I appreciate the fact that so many people have shared their thoughts with us. And now it's up to us to take that feedback, mold it into, an even better game. So looking forward to the future with you guys. It's been lovely so far.
Absolutely.
I think before we sort of head off, I think Moose, you saw just in the last 7 to 10 days when you were sort of with us how the little machine gets going. We've got a few folks in our sort of marketing sort of creative team on that side, and
great folks.
It's amazing how much they can do just with a creative mind and a big heart in a sense. I've seen many things around different companies within our group, And that video that was actually posted online, that weren't too far. I mean, that was real, but that's how it actually works. You got the website just coming together in a few days. I mean, it wasn't a few days. Obviously, it was working prior to that. The logo, the logo that was handcrafted over weeks, and then the original logo actually came very early on out of Cadu.
Yeah, Cadu made the logo originally.
He made the original sort of, for the logo, and then of course it got over to here, and then it was a good logo. It was a strong logo out of the gate, and then of course refining it, putting all that extra stuff onto it. That's when you're a bigger company like that, it's just like, I'll stick that out to an agency, and it'll cost God knows how much, and it'll come back, and you'll sign it off, or you won't sign it off. None of that here, right? It's all, we're doing it.
Yeah, it's all very very tight knit, very close, very intimate, for lack of a better term. Like we're all in this shit, man. We all really care deeply, and it's been a pleasure to be part of this thus far, and I'm very 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 excited for the rest of the year. It's been an honor to be part of this.
Good. Well, I've had enough of this now. I'm going.
All right, bye.
I'm joking.
Thank you so much, Lee, for coming on. Appreciate you talking to us for damn near 2 hours here.
Mr. John Cracked, everybody.
John Cracked. It's Johnny Cracked Octane now. It's changed.
Johnny
Cracked
Octane.
I thought that was so funny that you signed off the blog JCO, Johnny Cracked Octane.
JCO, yeah.
JCO.
You told me about JCO.
He was going to do.
It's all good fun.
He was going to do just Johnny Octane. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do JO.
Don't hit the JO.
Don't
no.
JCO.
That's not the way to do it. No.
Anyways,
man,
guys, Stage Tour. It's coming out in the fall. Go to our website, stagetour.com. Follow us on all socials at Stage Tour Game. Sign up on the website. Be notified for all sorts of things, especially early play testing. It's going to be a good year, and I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this podcast was informative, enlightening, all the different words to mean that you learned something new, and I hope that you enjoyed getting to listen to the beautiful, sultry voice of John Cracked.
And if you have more thoughts or feedback, let us know in the
comments.
We're all ears.
We're
all ears.
It's not just these comments. Go to any of the Stage Tour Game comments as well. Go anywhere. The Discord.
Our Discord.
We're listening all over the place, everywhere. It's been great so far, and we hope to have that continue. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate that. See you guys in the next episode.